Today I finished the expansion for my geothermal greenhouse. It's 32 feet long, 14 feet wide, and 14 feet from ground to the point. I have a couple squash here that are about ready, but I'm just gonna roll the dice and I think they'll be fine in here in the hoop house. These tomatoes have been about the same size for quite a while now, so I'm not sure if these ones are gonna get any bigger. And I have quite a few green tomatoes over here that are larger, and hopefully they'll come to harvest all the way. These corn plants in the back here, I think it just seems like, look at this, it's not gonna grow anymore. But it's not, I don't think it made it all the way. So it could be that I just didn't water them enough toward the end. It could be that the soil still isn't good enough in here, and potentially next season it'll be great. I've got broccoli finally coming in, and that'll be good, and broccoli does pretty good in the cold. There are a lot more potato plants in here, and I think that I got these ones going before the others, if I recall right. So hopefully we'll just let them go and get some more potatoes this harvest. If these were further along, they'd probably work for seeds, but they actually taste quite good, so I'll probably eat a couple and then give the rest to the pigs. Because it's going to be below freezing, I'm going to pull this squash off, because these are outside on the hugelkultur. There are several more that I'm just going to leave and hope they do okay. But I've got another big one right here. Here's a pretty good turnip. I have a bunch of, I believe this is kale. And there's some more corn and sorghum and squash on this hugelkultur. I'll probably boil this one for lunch today. Hey. Hey, little piggy. The worst part about winter is it's like 6:10 right now, and it's pitch black outside, which sucks because I've been up for hours and I just want to work, but I can't see anything. Here comes the sun, do. I see Incas's eyes over there. Well, it's 30 degrees this morning, which is 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. So let me tell you, 30 is way warmer than 20. Morning, Magdalene. Did I wake you? You want some eats? Oh, let's give him some of this here. What do you want, Annie? doing? Here you go. She still has plenty of feed from yesterday in there. You hungry, Yammy? I think we'll get the digging shovel. Look, there's frost on everything. Oh, that's kind of a steep climb down. Maybe I'll move it over here and we'll just go straight out to the greenhouse. Oh, all right. Okay, there we go. Today, I gotta go down inside and clean out all the dirt before I cover it. Look at this. With the shade cloth gone, it just sure looks a lot larger. So, I have to break down these walls here that are still there a little bit, and then just take out any chunks along the way. And I need to clean out around this trailer, which will be the grow bed for my aquaponics system. I made a swell down this side that comes out to a larger swell that will run down around the perimeter of the property and over to the orchard. All of this, of course, would run down into the swell. And most of the water from this side of the geothermal will come down as well. This is the original wall for the first geothermal. I'm gonna just cut out these boards here and cut here, and that way it'll just be a clean shot, you know, all the way across. Of course, I'll leave this A-frame in here for integrity. Before sunrise, I was in here scooping out all of the dirt because I knew that, you know, once the plastic was up, it wouldn't be as easy to get out. Back here, I'll build a stand that's about 3 feet, 4 feet off the ground to lay this trailer on. That'll be the grow bed. Sure is a lot warmer in here than it is outside, so it's definitely doing the trick already. I'm a little concerned about the 45s being so sharp that they might cut the plastic. So I'm still going to hop up in here and reinforce some of this with 2x4s, and I'll go up top. I'll tie wire around the PVC to the 2x4s that I ran across the top. And while I'm there, I'll put a piece of tape over the 45s to prevent them from rubbing through later. It's 23 degrees this morning on the homestead, and well, I've just got a few chores I've kind of got to do. I've been really busy the last few days, and there's just some odds and ends that I want to tie up around the homestead. It just happened to be really windy yesterday, but it didn't cause any problems. Today I'm going to finish reinforcing the geothermal expansion. I'd like to pull down all this flashing and put in real gutters today. And the front of my gym right here has just been a tarp, and I want to take that down and put up some corrugated steel, at least that back 10 feet or so. In the greenhouse here, I already came out and on that rib there, I put tape up on top of the PVC in hopes of preventing it from rubbing through. And then I used rebar wire to tie the rib to the 2x4, which is reinforcing the ribs all the way down. The door here is not wrapped in plastic, and either are these two large windows here. The rest of the geothermal currently is enclosed, and with it being 23 this morning, I was surprised. I've been working on getting, there's 3 tomato plants here, and I've been working on kind of recouping them. And I'm waiting on a stapler, so I wasn't able to close these off last night. But it looks like they're doing okay. And I've got wheat in here that's growing. And, on this side, I was working on trying to recover this squash. I tore up this entire row already. But I decided to leave these squash. And if I can just get it to recover, it did just sprout some new flowers yesterday. So I think that I'll actually get fruit on here, cute squash. And outside, I can't do that anymore. I just recently harvested most everything that was ready because I made a mistake, and I wound up harvesting about 20 pounds of produce the other day. But the mistake I made was when I ordered I added the plastic for this expansion into my wish list, and Bill was nice enough to send that in. But I kind of made a miscalculation. I thought originally I had enough that I was going to be able to cut off the excess and wrap the top of my hoop house, but I was wrong. So I have new plastic on the way to do that, so it won't be a problem moving forward and replanting. And because I got plant fabric up top, I did keep the broccoli and whatnot, but I lost a bunch of stuff because of that miscalculation. Basically it got down below freezing. So the Hugo culture is pretty well done at this point. And the hoop house does have a lot of stuff in it that's doing okay, but there was a lot of stuff that died off and needed harvested. Oh, someone had voiced, as I was building this out, I mentioned that I put in these temporary walls here so that what happened is digging the hole was difficult to do to make it perfect. And so it got dug out a little further than it was supposed to. So I needed to build up the wall and build it up this way. It was basically, already cut clear down to here and out. So I had to build that dirt up so I could put the ribs into the ground. And someone was like, oh, that looks pretty precarious or whatever. Like, everything looks good, but those are sketchy. But I explained those are not supposed to be there permanently. And I'll show you on this side, I had another one and it did its job. Pretty well none of the dirt above that was there. I put in a little retaining wall, built all the dirt up, built it out that way. On top of the plastic, it's weighted down, and it's just totally holding the ribs in place, exactly what it was supposed to do. And then I'm just tearing out all of the scrap, so don't worry about that. The small amount of dirt that was being held up, you know, collapsed down into the garden here, and I knew that's what would happen. And I have this area right here that's deep, and I'll just kind of spread that out and mix it in with the compost and whatnot. It's definitely staying a lot warmer in here. I could feel it. It's much more comfortable in here than it is outside. And soon I'm going to bring over, maybe I'll do it today. I can bring over some solar panels and a battery and get the geothermal so that it's running. And that'll make it about 15 degrees warmer when it's cold and about 15 degrees cooler when it's hot. So, you know, the plastic itself is going to keep this thing warmer, and then to add that extra 15 degrees is a big difference. If you can imagine, like, it's usually not below 20, so being able to be 35 is a whole lot better, right? Everything in here would have died if I didn't get that plant fabric up top. But, you know, the tomatoes needed to be pulled out. Look at how good these potatoes are doing. Really great if you think about how damn cold it is. And of course the broccoli doesn't mind it so much, and there's cabbage. But you can see it's real thinned out in here because I pulled out all the squash. And hopefully, you know, down there I didn't have it all prepared or covered, and the potatoes died out. And they're all, I got a bunch of little potatoes, so that kind of sucks. But hopefully these ones go long enough so that they can get up to, you know, a decent sized potato. And I hope the ground is soft enough to let them grow. I finally have a broccoli coming in, so I'm excited about that. And I mean, there's a bunch of plants, so we should do pretty good on broccoli. With all of that doing okay with just the plant fabric, once I get the plastic and I bring it down and wrap the entire thing and close the doors in, I know it's gonna grow really well this winter. I did pretty good in it last winter. This is the other gutter that I plan to replace, hopefully today. It's just a piece of flashing, so you know, I've been losing water on those two areas, and putting up a real rain gutter will harvest more water for me. I've had a lot of organic matter to add to the composter lately. Hi, how are you? I was able to button up the plastic here, so the entire greenhouse is wrapped except for the door right now. And wow, it's so much warmer in here. It's nice. God, it feels like it just feels like summer in here, and it's winter out there. But so here's the sides are all done. It's cleaned up in here pretty well. And then I just brought in the pool. This is going to be the pool for the hopefully rainbow trout. Frame in here is just so solid. I even did some pull-ups on this thing here, and it's just rock solid having all the different supports in here now. I did have as much as I had a whole foot of snow on top of this thing, and it was pushing it down, but it was fine. And I think I've reinforced it more since then, if I recall right. Oh yeah, well, and there's way more bracing now. I closed in this end here where my gym is at, which I use this thing every day, so it's nice. And I haven't had a mirror this whole time I've been out here. The only thing I used to cut my beard was the phone. I would just turn the camera on and cut my beard and my hair. And then, you know, I had the mirror on the side of the van, and that was it. So having this in here, this will be nice. Now I know what I look like. And of course, having most of this area closed in is just going to be a lot nicer, less wind, and a little more comfortable. And then now I'm going to put up the real gutter. Grace Hunter left a comment and said, basically, she's a single homesteader herself and wonders where I get the stamina to do all the projects that I do. And she's like, is it like being a kid on Christmas morning? And I guess so. kid on Christmas morning is super excited that he's going to get what he wants. And in a lot of ways, I've got what I want. I think that I've also trained myself to be really happy with having the things that I need. And so I have the things that I need, and I'm making the things I need. So that's motivating. I'm almost always excited to work on a project I'm working on. It is tough. I do get tired, and there's a lot of days where I'm dreading it, like, oh, kinda, but at the same time, I love doing the work and everything. And it pays off. Everything I do pays off. I'm either creating food, water, or shelter, or income. And I really enjoy working for myself and being independent and self-sustaining and self-sufficient. And so knowing that I don't have to work for someone else, especially that's an asshole. I really loathed when I worked for somebody that they would like talk down to you and stuff. And especially when you knew that whatever they're talking down to you about, they actually don't even know as much as you do, but they're just, because they're in that position of power, they abuse it. And I hated working for people like that. So it lights a fire under my ass to make sure that I don't work for someone like that. In so many ways, my homestead is like the absolute bare minimum, like that's the bare minimum little shed that you could build for a goat with leftover scrap material, corrugated steel that's all crooked as hell, and the shop was the nicest thing I built because I did buy all the material, most of the, all the wood, most of it, and everything else is just pieced together like the very bare minimum. Like this is about as bare minimum of a shed as you could build. Just a stick frame, and then I kind of wrapped it, and it didn't even have real gutters on it. But by doing this though, it gave me what I needed, and I'm really happy with what I need. Look at all the hay that I've harvested on my own homestead too. This is that hairy grandma, and it was about twice that tall, but I've been feeding it to my livestock. But if I can just hurry and wrap things up, I can get back to cutting this thing, and I should be able to fill up at least to the roof here, but I could probably fill up this whole spot pretty good. Anyhow, guys, that takes us through a couple days on the homestead. I've got more to do. I got to get back to work and wrap the day up, but please check out the links below. Vote for me for Big Hero, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.